Hey VC, Jeff, back again. Just got back from a camping trip, pretty exhausted. But get quite the stack, so I'm just trying to get through it because I have a feeling tomorrow could be pretty exhausted too. We're just gonna be sitting and listening to a lot of music. So you did accumulate a bit of a stack. Looks like a pretty CD heavy one, but a lot of vinyl too. Let's just jump in here. Some of these things I've shown before. Yes, but a lot of it's yeah, new to here. Cassiopeia, so the Japanese, would you call them fusion? Maybe fusion. Um, so band early, this is like an early 80s one. This is definitely one of their better albums, but I don't know. This was, I'm putting in my purge pile because it's just not for me, but it is a really good album. It falls into kind of city pop kind of sound. So it's a really solid album. It's one of their better ones, but it's just for me, it just doesn't do anything. So if anyone wants it, it's actually a really clean copy. Let me know. Otherwise, I'll probably bring that to my local for sale. Found this in the shrink. I had another one that's still sealed. Came after this, I think. Um, D. Martin. I take a lot of pride in what I am. Whatever. I don't know what the title's about. It's pretty decent, Kroner stuff. Don't have to really talk about it. Probably not his best work. So for me, it's like a 3.5. I'll probably keep it in the collection for now. But I think the other one I have that's sealed is supposed to be one of his better albums. Um, but I might sell that one anyway because I think I can get like 40, 50 bucks for it maybe because it's sealed. I don't know. This is a recent purchase. I found a near mint copy of this, still in the shrink. So this is a French copy of Stomo Yamashita's Red Buddha. Yeah, nice clean copy. It's got the cool labels. Unfortunately, on the B side, there's like this tiny little scratch that's causing it to skip, which is kind of annoying. But it's otherwise a really good copy, so I might keep it anyway and just kind of deal with that when it happens. Just, or do one of those. I don't know. I'm always nervous. Like some people get the little microscope thingy out and try to gouge the scratch a little bit so it continues. I don't know. But otherwise, yeah. But it's all he's mostly famous for his fusion type stuff. This one in particular is just percussion. Um, so kind of like a little avant-garde, not free jazz maybe, I don't know, but it's yeah, all percussion, kind of jazz with a little bit of a fusion feel to it maybe, but yeah, this is not the U.S. cover. U.S. cover and the Japanese cover have like a kind of like a red vase or urn kind of thing going on. It's also a really cool color, but I like the French cover, the EU cover, same UK, etc. But yeah, that one will get a 4.5 from me. That's a pretty cool one. This one's been in my collection for quite some time. I think I found this in a thrift like in the 90s or something. Just was kind of in the mood. So I threw it on. Excellent album. The Blue Oyster Cult's live album. It's got all their bangers on it for the most part. So not a massive Blue Oyster Cult fan, but I was kind of in the mood for little 70s, 80s rock. So that kind of one of the ones I hit. Yeah, and this was a I think this was a thrift find. Yeah, so I got this like I don't know, over the summer sometime I think. There's a rat. Was dancing undercover or whatever. I don't know. It's actually a pretty decent album for being hair metal. Not hair metal, hair band, whatever. I don't know if I go as far as that calling that metal, but yeah, that's a pretty solid album actually. That's like a 4-ish one. But yeah, I'll probably hold on to that for a little while because it's a fun album. Yeah, this one's a little more trash than I thought. Again, thrift find, but yeah, it's complete for the most part. But yeah, the vinyl is a little more scratched than I would like. Oh well. But yeah, for now I'll keep it. I do like that album a lot. On the kind of spiritual jazz end of things, I bought this a while back, a couple years ago maybe. Alice Coltrane, Transcendence, excellent album. Yes, yeah, of course, yeah, mostly her, what do you call it? God, I'm tired tonight. Harp. Yeah, this is like, she's a harpist or whatever. It's primarily her doing that kind of stuff. Some organ on there, vocals, a little bit of everything, but some traditional instrumentation. But yeah, if you've ever seen this, it's worth picking up. It's a great one. 4.5. It's pretty solid. It's definitely a keeper for me. This would always go back and forth on in their catalog. This is Unwound, self-titled. It's pre-Sarah Lund, so it was actually released after like one or two of their albums had come out. This was recorded like before with the original drummer. It's definitely not as good as the the stuff with Sarah Lund on drums, but it's still pretty interesting. It's just a little more generic sounding, if you're going to be honest about it. But it's got some killer tracks on it. Yeah. I don't know. I'm still going back and forth if I want to actually get the first box set from Numero. I do have the other three sets. So they have 4 box sets of all the Unwound stuff. But yeah, proto math rock, I guess you kind of call it, post hardcore. It's in that kind of thing. But yeah, this one's a little more hardcore-y than their later stuff with the newer drummer. But yeah, like I said, it was released after, because more of a money grab. I don't think anyone ever released this until like they were starting to gain some popularity. But yeah, definitely not as strong as the stuff the newer drummer. But yeah, it's worth checking out at least. Stream it. But yeah, 4-ish. But I'm an Unwound fan, so it definitely is a little more generic than their other stuff. This was a blind buy. Goodwill, yeah, 99 cents, I guess. Yeah, Scott Kuso Islands. It looked kind of ECM-y, but it was, what do you call it? Wyndham Records, Wyndham Hill Records, which I think they're a little more famous for, like, kind of the folky kind of stuff. This one, it's, I don't know, what would you call that? It's kind of a cool jazz with that 80s cool jazz. It has some, I don't know. By the time I got to the second side, I was kind of getting a little more into it. So I'll hold on to it for a little while longer. But it's got, yeah, who's on here? So it's got Scott Cusso on piano, Dave Valentine flutes, Mark Egden on bass and 8-string bass, got some drums, congas, synth, lots of synth, violin, French horn, cello. Yeah, so you kind of get the impression it's kind of like an ECM thing, but it really, yeah, it was not quite there. It's more like David Sanborn or something. So for right now, I'm gonna say 3.5. It wasn't bad, but it was just, I don't know, it was just not quite my jam. But for $1, maybe I'll hold on to it a little longer, give another listen before I purge it. Got some 7-inches. I want to say I traded this to my friend and he gave it back to me. Fluffy Kitty oatmeal cream pies, and I guess the A side, I guess, would be Weenex with cheesecake. Weenex definitely being the better side of the two. This one's like a female led. They're both like it's just 90s alts. Falls into the Picasso trigger and all that kind of sounds stuff. Pseudo grunge influenced. I don't know. This is kind of that transitional period stuff. Weenex was decent. Fluffy Kitty not so much. So. How I got it back, I guess. And then this was one Sean had sent me a while back. Tortured Tongues. I guess it's 3 tracks on that on Hozak. And it's just chaotic, hardcore-ish. What's he say? Too chaotic or moronic. I don't know. I kind of like the chaotic stuff, so I actually enjoyed it. I definitely could give that some more listens. So Tortured Tongues, for me, it's at least a 3.5. It's leaning towards 4. So we'll see. That's worth a few more listens at least. Then let's get into a big CD stock, because I don't know, man. When I want to chill, I just go throw some CDs in the changer. Got this from my friend. Don't think I showed this. Funkadelic. This is the complete recordings from 76 to 81. What it is the 4 albums from that period with a nice thick book in the middle. So we got Hardcore Jollies. The title track is really freaking awesome. One Nation Under Groove. Uncle Jam Wants You, and The Electric Spanking of War Babies. So it's got like 4 complete albums, and it's got like basically the history of Funkadelic and some Parliament stuff in there. So it's a pretty good one. I don't know if these go for like a lot of money, so it might be worth picking up if you see it, or seek it out if you like it. But it basically is just those 4 albums. There's no like extra materials other than the thick book in there. Getting to the regular stuff. So, Pussy Galore. So, I think the bands that came after Pussy Galore somehow got more famous, but for me, Pussy Galore was the best band of the bunch. So, of course, John Spencer most famously came out of here. You got Julie Fritz, who later on, and Yo Haggerty, and one other fellow who I forget. But yeah, this is like a Corpse Love, which is a compilation of some of their earliest tracks. It's pretty jam-packed. I don't know if this has a vinyl release. It's definitely a twofer. This is like 70-some minutes, I'm pretty sure. 28 tracks. So it's kind of skirts, if you're not familiar with them, they kind of skirt they skirt between noise rock and like garage punk stuff. They kind of right in the middle of that, if that makes any sense. So pretty solid album if you see it. Corpse Love, 4.5 for me. It's a really solid album. This one I picked up because someone had shown it during the contest I got running. By the way, yep, if you haven't entered already, enter the contest. This is, let's see if I try this focus trick. Tanya Tarek, no, it doesn't work. Tanya Tagag, I guess, Animism. So, how would I describe it? Yeah, kind of avant-garde-ish. So it's kind of like, it's avant-garde-ish, but it's got a lot of pop sensibility. So it's kind of like that, kind of like, I'll say Bjork, but it doesn't really sound that much like Bjork most of the time. It kind of skirts between like Bjork and what's her name? Who's that New York artist? Laurie Anderson. It's kind of like between the two of them. Kind of skirts the difference. Yeah, but it's a really good album. I'm really enjoying this. Wanted it on vinyl, but the vinyl copies get pretty expensive by the time you get it here in the States. So I got this at a pretty reasonable price because it's Canadian. Yeah, 4.5 for me all day long. That's a really solid one. Swirlies, this is a really good one. I got it from the same person. So that's a comp of some of their, I guess there's some of their early stuff and like some unreleased stuff, some 7-inches and some unreleased. But only I think 8 or 9 tracks on there, but it's pretty short. But it's a really good album. If you see this, What to Do About Them, Swirlies. Again, like 90s alternative rock, a little on the harder edge, punkier edge of things. I don't know how to describe them, but they're pretty damn good. Maybe Feelings or something, maybe along those lines. Nation of Ulysses, I got this from my friend. 13-point program to destroy America, kind of appropriate for these days. DC, hardcore band, but they're a little more on the art rock end of things. Yeah, I don't know. They kind of political edged a little bit, like a lot of DC bands. It's like their whole little stick too, but I don't know. Some of it comes off really tongue in cheek, so who knows? But yeah, really solid. I definitely need to get some more of their catalog because They're always one of those bands like I never got totally into when I was younger, but now I like them a lot more. Sonic Youth, 100%. I'll give that a 4. It's a little uneven, but it's really good when it hits. So of course, 100% was off of Dirty. So it's a maxi single. So it's got 100% and Cream Brulee, which are really good tracks off there. Then it's got 2 extra tracks, Genetic and Hendrix Necro. I can't remember. One of them was better than the other. I want to say it's the second bonus track. The other one was kind of a throwaway, I think. But yeah, that's a good, interesting one. Parliament, Mothership, what do you call it? Mothership Connection. So I've been listening, because I got a bunch of Parliament and Funkadelic from my friends. I could get a little more AB going recently. I think I'm more of a Parliament guy, I think. But yeah, I was lucky enough to see P-Funk a couple times back in the 90s. Wish I'd seen them earlier, but yeah, good stuff. Getting more, I don't know. We'll revisit that. Then this was one from Sean. He passed his bootleg copy of Parasol down to me. Yeah, it's pretty solid. Yeah, blues rocky kind of stuff. Hitting hard. Yeah, I almost bought this a couple times when I was in Japan. Like there's a couple copies floating around while I was there. Now it's now it's commanding more and more bucks. Maybe I should have. I don't know, but yeah, it's not perfect, but it's a pretty good album if you're into that hard heavy stuff. I think everyone's been showing us the VCs, so I don't really need to talk too much about that. From my friend Major Lance. So he was kind of like, I guess he was kind of a minor soul player or whatever. He was close buddies with oh god, who was the guy who did was it oh shit, I'm gonna have to look. So he was close. I am so tired right now. Maybe I should have waited to do this. But he was so a lot of his material is actually written by his college not college, his high school buddy. I guess you're I'll remember it as soon as I find it. So make a lot more sense if I can find it. I am just pulling this out. So yeah, this is basically okay records, but Curtis Mayfield, that was so yeah. So a lot of his material is written by Curtis Mayfield. They're like close buddies from high school or whatever. Got in about the same time. Curtis got big. This guy he had some problems. But it was a double disc. I think it has a pretty big chunk of his materials, obviously, because let's see, I think his biggest one was maybe. But yeah, basically 2 discs. He was performing off and on up until like the 90s or so, and he had some health issues or something. But not one I'd go like way out of my way to find. But if you're into kind of the soul R&B stuff, especially kind of the Stax kind of stuff, yeah, it's worth checking out if you run across some inexpensively. This was a comp from Sean, so been enjoying that. So we'll just say world music, voodoo. Second disc, not so good. Guy Clark. This is an interesting EU comp double album. So it's called Old Number One and Texas Cooking Together. You with it on both on a single disc. It's kind of a cool comp. But yeah, definitely Old Number One's the much stronger album of the two. Yeah, Texas Cooking or whatever. It definitely you can tell the difference between the two albums on it back to back. One's a 5-star, one's a 4-star. Yep, this one's excellent. Got a couple copies of this, so Sean, you'll be getting this. That's a 5-star all day long. Don't need to talk too much about that. Buena Vista Social Club, Ry Cooder, Cuba, recorded a lot of the classic Cuban artists back in the early 90s, I want to say. Comes with a big thick book, which I only got halfway through. Got to finish that. But awesome album. Yeah, Blood Loss, another one from Sean, passed my way. Is it a essential album? Probably not, but 4-star-ish. Um, so they were around, I guess, in the Seattle area scene for quite a bit. I want to say this is the first one with Mark Arms. I think they got a little slicker on this one. Mark Arm of Mudhoney. So it's kind of interesting. It's a little harder hitting than Mudhoney. But and this one's really good. Roberta by the Work Dogs. Um, it's been a couple weeks since I listened to this now. So I think this is considered to be their best album, possibly. I don't know. I do have a few of their others. This one's really good though. This is like it's a promo, so it's all beat up. Promo, you can see that. Yeah, so it's checking out. The title track's quite long, and so skip the title track maybe if you're just kind of streaming it. But it's hard rock and yeah, blues garagey rock, whatever. This one I've shown at least once. Amalgamation by Masako Sato. So this one's a bootleg. The originals go for crazy money. It's Japanese free jazz, experimental, avant-garde, whatever. Very, very much worth checking out. Top 50 album at least for me. It's a really good one. That's a 5. Just thrift pickup recently for $1. Rhythmics, greatest hits. I had a couple of their big albums in my hand too. I was like, I just take their greatest hits. That's all I really need. See, when you since Sunday, that's where you go. And yes, it's out of the same haul. Simply Red. That's the one with If You Don't Know Me by Now. Great. Yeah, it's actually a pretty good album. It was more. It's a little more of an R&B thing going than I remembered, but yeah, solid album. Anyway, I'm going to call it quits at 22 minutes. If you haven't entered the contest yet, go ahead and do that. I'm going to log back in because I've been out in the woods. So I think I got a couple more comments and maybe some people posted some vids I didn't miss. So take care. You got until October 31st, and stay safe out there.